Hello, my name is Tanner Litchfield. I am an agent and an investor based here in Utah. Today specifically, I'm going to be talking about how I decide if I'm going to take down an investment or not. And this comes to a rental property, right? That's what I focus on. So how do I decide? The number one piece and the most important piece is the numbers, right? That's kind of obvious. I focus mostly on a cash on cash basis. My numbers that I shoot for is typically a bare minimum of a 7% cash on cash return. It used to be 8%. That seems harder and harder to find. If I find a true 7% after all expenses, I am happy. If you want to learn more about what expenses are entailed, go look at some of my other videos where I dive deep into these rental performas. Okay, so we talked about number one is numbers. Now, number two, where a lot of people look over is how clean the deal is. Especially early on in my career, I looked past this a lot. How much mind space am I going to have to invest into this property on top of the capital? If it is a 1905 Victorian house in Salt Lake City, it might be a great investment for someone, but for me, I don't love it. I don't want to have to deal with the massive rehab. I don't want to have to deal with the knob and tube electrical, the lath and plaster. I don't want to deal with all those things. They seem like more of a headache that's worth the overall return to me. Now, on the other side of that, the perfect picture investment as like a clean deal that I look for is a fourplex that is a brick rectangle, very boring, and it's clean, right? All the units are the exact same. It's not like a converted house. That cleanliness where the meters are separated individually, that goes a long way when you don't have to deal with all that craziness long-term in this property. So number one, numbers. Number two, how much mind space will it take, or how clean is the deal? Number three, and what you've heard probably a ton, is location, location, location. It can be very tempting to sacrifice location for the sake of numbers. Now, all of these need to be combined into an all-inclusive standards or buy box, right? So one, numbers can't be left without location. If you want strictly numbers, you can go to Midwest. Heck, you could probably even go to Mexico, right? Like there are several levels of your cash on cash return that grow exponentially as you sacrifice location. I have seen the insane growth of an appreciation market, so I will never sacrifice location for numbers ever again. So with that being said, where does my location look like? High growth areas. So from Salt Lake as south to Spanish Fork, we'll say, I am confident that those areas, we'll call it Salt Lake County and Utah County, are going to be massive. Now, that also has to do with where I live, right? I'm not saying that Bountiful and Farmington aren't amazing locations. And again, these are towns in Utah, but it's applicable to wherever you live. I live in North Utah County. So Utah County's here, Salt Lake County's here. I'm at the top of Utah County, so it puts me right in the middle of it. I believe in these markets, but I'm also close by. I believe in investing in your backyard for a ton of reasons. It helps build a community that you live in. It helps that if you want to go check out your property physically, it's not a far drive. There's a ton of benefits to it. I'll keep it simple in today's video because I feel like those three are the most important. And I'll reiterate, number one is numbers. I shoot for a cash on cash, a minimum of 7%. Number two is peace of mind. And also in terms of peace of mind, or the mind space a deal will take, especially when it comes to seller financing, that's massive, right? So I don't want to take on a 3-year balloon because that doesn't give me a lot of peace of mind. If I'm stressing about refinancing or selling in a 3-year period, that gives me more stress than peace of mind. So if I'm doing a seller finance deal, bare minimum is 5 years. The longer, the better for that peace of mind. And number three is location. So those are the three things that I look at to decide if I'm going to buy a deal for me specifically. Everyone's going to have their own buy box, but hopefully this helps you decide what you are after. If this was helpful, make sure you like it, drop a comment, and even better, if you haven't already, subscribe. I appreciate you guys following the journey.